Hello there. How is everyone? Come on in. Get your paper and your pencil, and let's get to it. How's everybody today? Hello, say hello. Let me know how you are and where you are right now, where you're listening from, watching from on Hello, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, everyone. Have you ever felt stuck at a crossroads, unsure which way to turn? Now, if you're nodding, I want you to know that you're not alone. Many high achieving women are wrestling with questions about what's next, especially when life brings them some inevitable transitions. Now, some of you may think, I'm too set in my ways to change. Others worry, it's too late for me to start again, or I don't have the right network or financial assets for a new venture. And let's not forget the classic, life is too unpredictable for planning. Now, listen, why must you take the reins and plan for your life's next chapter? Let's break it down into three core reasons why you should care. One, fulfillment. Without a plan grounded in your values, valley so low. No, I meant values. Without a plan grounded in your values, you risk drifting into roles or situations that leave you unfulfilled. That's a costly mistake, both emotionally and professionally. Financial security. Without a clear plan, you're essentially gambling with your financial future. Knowing your assets and how to leverage them strategically can really make the difference between financial freedom and perpetual stress. And thirdly, well being. Forget the myth that work life balance is a nice to have thing, it's a must have. Achieving balance is vital for your mental, emotional, and physical health. And without it, even the most successful career can feel like a hollow victory. Planning for your next chapter is about harmonizing your drive to achieve with your need for well being. It's the key to really creating a form of success that is impactful and sustainable over the long term. So, hello to everyone and good morning. And for those of you I haven't had the pleasure yet of meeting, I'm Dr. Geneva, a business and leadership strategist. My work centers on guiding leaders, especially female entrepreneurs and executives, to strategically grow their revenue and impact while navigating those inevitable life transitions. My 40 years of experience tell me that planning is essential for long term success and well being. In fact, I'm a geek when it comes to planning. I've been trained in it, I worked in many communities across the country. I've set goals, helped people establish visions, transform neighborhoods, communities, and oftentimes the difference was the planning, the intentional thinking about and planning steps, setting the vision, the action steps, etc. And I just really know how planning really can make a difference in what you do next. And planning really is just about being intentional and thinking about what it is you want to do, what it is you want to do with your life, what it is you want to do next. And so today, we're going to take this journey to shatter many false beliefs and objections that you might have about planning and reinventing yourself and thinking about your next chapter. And if you have comments or questions, please put them in the chat. And I want to remind you that this is a series of conversations that we're having on reinventing yourself, particularly for your next chapter. If you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, or beyond, okay, you've got a lot going on. And you may be feeling that this is a time to do something different, or maybe there's that dream that you've always had and you want to make it come true. Well, this series that I put together about reinventing yourself is going to help you get there. And guess what? Next week on Monday, October 2nd, I'm joining with Shanae Moret, and we're going to be talking about reinventing yourself. That's 9 o'clock a.m. Want you to tune in. So today, I'm going to guide you through 5 crucial milestones that will equip you to plan for your next chapter with clarity and confidence. Now, these aren't just milestones I'm talking about, they're really stops on your own journey map to what's next. And follow them, and you'll gain the insight and courage to pursue your boldest dreams. And for those of you who stay to the end, I have a bonus for you that serves as a key tip strategy to unlocking your next level of growth and impact to success. And so you don't want to miss it. So make sure you stay till the end with me. And so let's get started really talking about this journey map and what's next to that journey. These 5 milestones. So as you're going along and you're thinking about, well, what is next? How do I start? How do I plan? There are milestones, things that you want to achieve as you're putting together your plan. So the first one, excuse me, let me get some water here. Oh my goodness. The first one, and the first thing you want to do when you're planning for your next chapter, first step is to acknowledge life changes. Now you're going to say, Dr. Steve, what you talking about? That means to accept that life right now is going to bring you changes. And there are transitions in life, and that's what happens. You will, face career challenges. You'll lose loved ones. You'll find new love and relationships. You'll have struggles with children, and you might end up taking care of older adults like your parents, things that you had never experienced. You may have to move from one city to the next. Life changes. It's a roller coaster. And the first thing that's so important as you're planning for your next season is to acknowledge those changes. Now, I often hear women say, I'm too set in my ways to change. I can't do it, or I don't have time for another transition. Well, those are some limiting beliefs and some things that you might say in your head. But let me tell you, you in fact can change. It's never too late. You're never too old. And at any point in your life, you can create something new. It's just about setting your mind to it, your intention to it. It is about that shift in thinking so that you see things as opportunities rather than an obstacle. I've run into a lot of women who are very concerned, unsure, a little fearful of hitting their 50s. They see it as this milestone birthday, and you can approach it as, wow, I've lived a half a century, and this is incredible, and I'm excited for what's ahead. Or you can approach it as, I done lived a half a century, 50 years. I'm old. What do I do next? I don't know what I'm doing. That's your mindset, you know, and you have a choice about how you think about it. And so, one of the most important things that, again, I think that's so important as you're planning is to think about those changes, those things that are inevitable as, hey, those things are going to come. It is. And listen, do you want to come? Do you want to make sure that life is there for you and you continue to live? Well, you got to acknowledge that there are going to be changes along the process. If you understand what I'm talking about, put a yes in the comments. Yes, there will be changes, and yes, I will accept them and acknowledge them. It's really about what I do with those changes. So if you agree with that, put yes, there are changes, and changes are coming and they'll be there. The second milestone that it's going to be very important for you to think about and to do as an important step on your way to planning for what you're going to do next, that is inventory your assets. Do an asset scan. Okay, so y'all know what a scan is. I see my sister is joining us, and she's a healthcare professional. She works in the hospital, so she knows what a scan is. As you scan different parts of your body, and get your checkout, then checkups, etc. Well, that's what you need to do with your strengths, your skills, your accomplishments, and really get clear on what it is that you have. Now, I know you may be thinking, listen, I don't have what it takes for the next phase. Or again, it's too late for me to start over. Those are some beliefs again. I want to put the beliefs up there. So, just put them straight on out there because I want to challenge them and point out to you that those are beliefs that can limit you, and in many cases are false beliefs. Okay, again, you can start over at any stage and any age, and then why not? Okay, if you're going to live in this life and there's stuff you want to do, why not do it? And the reason why this step is so important about an asset scan is because many of you think that you don't have what it takes for that next phase. You don't have the skills, or you don't have this or that, whatever it is that, that's why you've been having that dream, and all it's been is a dream and you haven't moved on it. And that's because you don't believe that you have in you what it takes. Well, let me tell you, that's false. That's not true. Especially, listen, if you out there and you in your 40s, 50s, 60s, midlife, now listen, I know you've been through some stuff. I know you've been through some tests. You've probably been in several jobs. You may have children. You may be married, be living with someone, raising children, even grandchildren. Maybe you're taking care of an older adult, your parents. Maybe you've moved and had a life-changing transition. Yes, moving from one place to another. That's what I did. I moved from New Jersey and the East Coast to Detroit, had never expected it, and there were so many things that frankly challenged me and I was concerned with because I thought, I didn't have what it took. But the one thing when you lean on, particularly if you in midlife, you got tons of experience. If you've been in several jobs, I know you know how to communicate. I know you know how to plan. You probably know how to manage other people, worked with a team. You've probably done some budgeting. I could go on and on if you stop and you take the time to really sit back and think about, well, what is it that I have done? And what are the experiences that I have and the skills that I have, and leverage those and use those because they are transferable. And you can leverage and build on them and transfer them to whatever your next you want to be. So you need to understand your present resources, your assets, what you have, your skills, your knowledge, your experience, and that will help give you that confidence for the next phase. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Have any of you done that asset scan that I'm talking about, where you in fact inventory your assets? Have you done it? If you have, put a yes. And if you have not done it, it's something I want you to do. And there's several, techniques that you can use. For one, pull out a piece of paper and write at the top of it skills. And then in another column, put experiences. And then in another column, put accomplishments. And just fill those things out. Fill them out. You will have, guaranteed, you're going to have stuff in each of those columns. Okay? You will. And once you do that and look at it and see those skills, you're going to step back and say, perhaps I do have what it takes for the next phase, where I want to go and what I want to do and how I want to put forth and scan and inventory my assets. And so, okay. So if you have done that, if you've done this asset scan, I want you to put a yes, I have. Yes, I have in the comments. And if you haven't done it by some chance, or if you've done it, but you really don't know what to do with it, okay. Hey, come on, give me a call. Let's get on a strategy session and talk about it. Go to nextlevelsuccess.com, elevate nextlevelsuccess.com. We can talk about it and really get it going on. But that's an important key step. Yes. The next step in planning your future self, in planning what you're going to do next, is to do what I call a value sync. Now, everybody knows what sync is. Okay. That when you think something and it aligns and it gets in place, and sometimes you have to unplug something to sync it in to match with one thing or another, like your phone syncs with what's on your computer. Y'all know, everybody knows what sync is, okay? Well, we need to do that with our values. And that is, we need to align our dreams, what it is we want to do, with those things that are important to us. Now, I know some of you might be saying, success at the cost of personal values is okay. It's all right. As long as I'm successful, it really doesn't matter what all of my values are. Yeah, I'm working this job. It really doesn't make me happy. It doesn't turn me on a line with what I think it's important, but I need to check. And so I'm going to keep on doing it. So it's okay to, sacrifice my personal values. Some of you may be thinking that. And some of you may admit that you've lost sight of what's important and how hard it is to get back to doing what matters. We don't want to have that, because when you have that misalignment between here's what I think is important and here's what I'm doing, and it really isn't, what's in there between, that's that dissatisfaction. Because, what you want to do, what your heart is desiring to do, what your passion is out of sync with, what your values are and what it is that you're doing. So having that mismatch, say that 5 times fast, mismatch. can lead to dissatisfaction. And you want to make sure as you're moving to the next step that you're in harmony with your core values. So if you know um, uh, about what's important to you, so then you should be doing what matters to you. So this step of value sync, and yes, what do I love? Does the world need? What can I be paid for? What I'm good at? Yes, those are those life design questions that are so important to ask. So if you are perfectly aligned with your values, your vision and your values are so perfectly aligned at this point, put a yes. I want you to put a heart in the comments, put a heart. I know at this stage in my life that I am in perfect alignment with what I see is important. Now, getting here wasn't easy. I had to do a lot of planning, testing, experimenting, going through a lot of failures, a whole lot of stuff. But right now, one of my things that I feel is so important is making a difference. And so the things that I do these days, working with um, leaders, especially female entrepreneurs and executives, so that they can grow their impact, grow that money, grow those things that they want so they can have the financial freedom and the life that they want to leave, and dedicating myself to share the over 40 years of experience that I've had in doing that, in raising $100 million for business and charity, and in building partnerships, and in running many organizations, and doing all that while going through life challenges, being married, having children, grandchildren, losing my husband to cancer, and all of those things. That experience has given me an incredible, unique perspective and insight on how important it is to make sure that your vision and what you want to do and your passion and what you're doing syncs with your values and what's important. So let me see who feels that that's important, this value sync. Let's put some hearts in there. You know what, and if you know what I'm talking about value sync. And sometimes it's difficult for us to get there and to do that, but you can, and it's so important to work hard at it. And so the next thing I want to talk about is um, pivot plan. This is so much fun on this one. Now you're going to say to me, what's a pivot plan, Dr. Geneva? Um, are you telling us the plan, then pivot from it? Yeah. What I'm telling you is that you need a plan. You need a game plan, strategy, next steps, whatever you want to call it. You need a plan. And that plan needs to be flexible enough. It need to be true and what it is you want to do. And you have to have your values and your vision aligned in it. And it needs to be flexible. So many folk don't talk about the need for having a plan that's adaptable and see it as a very strong characteristic of good planning. Folk think that, well, if I put something together, then I need to stay focused on that and do only that and never move. Well, see, that don't work because life enters. Life comes in. So it's always so I don't want you to just do a plan because I'm here rah rah for the plan, do the plan, but I want the plan to be flexible. And so many of you think that you need to have it all figured out, that everything has to be planned and set, and you got to figure it all out, particularly before you start. That's got to be perfect. Or that planning is a waste of time and life is too unpredictable. And yes, there are aspects of life that we just don't know. And we're uncertain about that. Look what we just went through. It proves it to all of us. The pandemic. This was one of the most unpredictable time of and uncertain time that no one expected, knew about, or how to deal with. It was the height, and it was something that we've all shared. So, but what did you do? Ask yourself, what did you do? If you're here with us, you came out of it and you learned a whole lot. And even though at that time life seemed so unpredictable, you were able to move forward. And that's my point about having a plan, but having it flexible. And so you need a strategy that's designed to accommodate change. If you understand what I'm talking about or agree, put a yes in the comments. Let me hear. I want to make sure y'all still out there. Let me know. I see the yeses coming in. Yes, yes, that's right. And what this pivot plan that I call, because you remember that's what we talked about all during the time of the pandemic, how businesses had to pivot, how we had to pivot our careers, we had to make changes and be responsive to changes. You know what I'm talking about. And what I'm suggesting to you is that you take some of the lessons that you learned about how to be flexible, about how to pivot. You take what you learned about, yes, there are things in life that are unpredictable, but there also are things that I do have control over, that in fact I can figure out, that I can plan for. And that's what I want you to understand, I invite you to really think about and get into, because if you wait for the perfection, if you wait till you have it all figured out, you won't get started. You really won't, or you'll be disappointed in your planning. It's about progress. It's about accommodating changes. It's about being flexible. And um, uh, there's so many of you who are saying yes, yes, yes. I do know that. And you've had this experience. So, in fact, you know what it is that I'm talking about. Well, here's what I want. You've experienced that. So, put that into your planning and you'll make a better game plan and you'll be able to respond to so much. And yes, as you have faced these unpredictable times and you got through it, you got stronger. That's how you build resistance. So it all works. Do you see what I'm saying? You build in the practices, you get yourself flexible, uh, you work on progress, not perfection, and you move forward and you do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. The next, I want to talk to you about this next milestone that I think is also extremely important and one that I know that I've worked a lot on. And that has to do with speaking up. And that is that when you put your plan together, that you commit to it and you communicate to it. So let's get into what I mean by that. So there's sometimes these false beliefs, these limiting beliefs. And I know I felt for a long time, particularly um, after my husband passed, that not only did I have to do everything on my own, but I could do it all on my own. And that really limited my ability to get input, hear other opinions, even it limited my ability to have that beginner's mind, that curiosity about exploring and looking for new and different things. And um, and then some of you may also feel that you don't want to be held accountable because your plans may change. Now, that's another thing that I hear a lot of. Well, I don't want to put together a plan because it's going to change. Well, we just talked about that. And it's okay for plans to change, to be flexible. Okay? Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right? We want flexibility. Um, but we don't want you to be flexible just hanging out there and floating in the wind. We want you to have a plan. Think of a plan as a framework, okay? As setting the context, as helping guide you to where you want to go. All right. And so then that means if it's a framework, if it's a context, it isn't rigid. We're not talking about a rigid block at all. But this whole idea about speaking up once you've designed and developed your plan and you've put together these concrete steps towards achieving it, it's important to build in the accountability. So you need to commit to it. You can't just put together a plan and put it on a shelf. In the many years that I did planning with communities and neighborhoods all across the country, one of the things that would always be said by the people we would work with is, oh, we don't want to do a plan because what happens is the plan, you spend all this time and energy, commitment and dream and plan all these resources and do all that and it gets put on the shelf. Well, don't put your plan on the shelf. See, that's a choice. And that's what I would say to the um, business people and neighborhood people and foundation heads that I used to work with. And as we were planning for things and developing these plans on a whole host of community issues to make really good positive change for families and children, I would say, well, if we put it on the shelf or if you put it up there, then that's something you chose to do. So putting a plan and not using it and not dealing with it, that's a choice. And what I'm suggesting to you is to choose to commit to your plan and that in fact you're going to do it. And then this thing about communicating and speaking up, you've got a support network. Use it. Tell your friends, colleagues, peers, whoever it is who's in your network that you trust, okay, who has your back, who can give you good advice, who can give you some great feedback, your advisory board of people who do that, who support you. Tell them about it. One of the things that does is build in accountability because, if you tell someone, well, I'm going to write my book by the end of the year, you've put it out there. I remember, and my sister's on listening, I remember when I decided, I was working with my dad to write a book about him and all of his work in civil rights and changing communities and the activism that he and my mom were engaged in for all of their lives. And when we first started the book, now I'm going to tell you, I don't think the first page was even written, but my dad was telling everybody, I'm writing a book. Gigi and I are writing a book. We're going to have a book. He told everybody. So, there was no way that I could not deliver on that book. Okay. So there is real value in committing to your plan and communicating it to others because your support network will keep you to task and keep you honest and keep you there. And so this milestone of speaking up is an important one. So, we've looked at 5 milestones to plan what's next. The season shift where you acknowledge the fact that life is here and there will be changes. The scan and inventory of your assets that you need to do, aligning your vision, what you believe and what you want to do with what really is important, your core values, and always keeping that purpose close to your heart and your actions and what it is that you do and how this will help you transition and plan for your next chapter. Developing the game plan. You need a plan, you need a game plan. If you want to talk about it, I can help you do that. But you need that plan and you need to develop one that is flexible. And then we talked about speaking up. That is telling folk about your plan and telling yourself so that you'll commit to it and be accountable. So I promised you that I would bring forth one more tip that I'd like you to use, and that this really is something that I use often as a strategy, and that is a clarity card. Anybody heard of a clarity card? Put yes in the comments if you have. And this is where you take, it's a real simple thing. You take a note card, okay, and you write on the note card your goal. I usually pick the most important one or the one that I feel that I might, go off track a little bit. And in this one, there's the goal of secure 3 new high value clients in the next 60 days. And the goal could be anything. It's your goal, whatever you believe is important. And write that on a note card. Get yourself a note card and write it down. Note card, just write it down and keep it with you. Carry it with you. Leave it on your nightstand, put it in your purse, put it up, paste it to the fridge, keep it put it on your computer, put it where it's always there and with you. And it's this goal, this one goal. And it really helps in terms of focus, and attention. And it really is, just think about it. If you had, now this sister here, she has this secure 3 new high value clients in the next 60 days. So if you were carrying that around with you everywhere you go and you pick something up and you look, you say, oh, that's right, I got to get on that. Let me do something about that. But what it does is it's a tip to focus your attention, to make clear what your goal is, one of your goals. And you can have several cards if you got 3 goals. What I tend to do is I put my most important goal for the month on a card. And I carry my little clarity card, and there it is. And I never lose sight of what my goal is for that month, that time. So those are the milestones that I wanted to leave with you. They are the steps. Did you find this helpful? Was this valuable for you in terms of planning your next chapter? Again, when you want to do something, get a game plan, get a strategy, make a plan, make some steps, pull together vision and some action steps, and that's how you're going to do it. And Monica says first time she's hearing of the clarity card and you love it. Thank you so much. Please take it, use it, do it. And it's my time now. So many of you are here. There's so many comments. I just want to say hello to everyone again. I think I mentioned that my sister was joining us. That's my baby sister. That's my blood. That's my girl. And I'm so delighted, Janelle, that you're here with me. Mwah. Smooches and love back to you. Want to say hello to my friend. Sean, how are you? Calling in. Are you in Spain? Are you still international? So good to see you. How are things going? Thank you very much for your feedback and welcome, Teresa. And oh, thank you. I hope you use the clarity card. That's why I wanted to give it to you. And listen, if you like, if you like this conversation, if there's value you've gotten, come on over to and join me at elevatenextlevelsuccess.com. So we be into these strategies and conversations all the time. You can also talk with me one to one on a strategy call if you're interested, if you're wanting to reinvent yourself, if you know you've got these dreams, you've always had these dreams, but you don't know how to do it. We can talk, we can have that strategy conversation. You know, I'm a late life entrepreneur who had the dream of being an entrepreneur for more than 40 years. And I had been in the nonprofit world and was doing phenomenal things, very successful, but always had this nagging dream that I wanted to do. And one day I finally decided, hey, I was going to do it. And I did this in my late 60s. So, see, I'm here. See, I ain't here just to talk the talk. I ain't here just because, yes, I have a doctorate in these areas that we're talking about: leadership, collaboration, planning, public policy. Uh-huh. Yeah, I got the theoretical stuff. I'm going to bring my stuff, Sean, to the table. But what is really where I'm really coming from is bringing you the experience and all that I've done through all of these years. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm bringing to you and wanting to tell you that, in fact, you can do it. It's never too late. You can start planning at any age. You can go after that dream, like I did in my, again, I was late 60s, but now I'm a podcaster, I'm an author, I've got a six-figure business. I'm recognized for being a fabulous businesswoman in Michigan, and you can do it. And part of the way that you do it is by planning, by reinventing yourself to get what it is you want to do. So come join us at elevatenextlevelsuccess.com to continue the conversations. Sean's still in Spain. Love you. And hi there, Jeanette. How you doing? Yes, this live will be available for later view. It'll be on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube. You know, I got a YouTube channel. Please run over there right now. When we finish this, would you please go over there and subscribe? Yes. And if you want to get it, it'll be over there too. So I am streaming, and I'm streaming on Twitter too. Oh, I'm just so excited about doing all these new things. um, and so if you're having um, difficulty, elevate nextlevelsuccess.com. If you type in those words, you should be able to get in. But please, if you have run into any difficulties with, just drop me a DM. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on all social media sites at Dr. Geneva Speaks. And so you can drop me on LinkedIn a direct message, and I will definitely respond. Thank you so much, Sean. Good to hear from you. Yes, that's right. Talk about it, sis. Dreams do not have any age limits. We do know that. So I just want to say again, thank you all for joining. I see some of my good friends who are always with us. Hey there, Dr. Pierre. You know I had to see you from Texas. Do you love that clarity card? Good, good. Let me know if you use it, how it turns out for you. Thanks so much for everyone joining. I'm really appreciative. It really makes me feel good and want to do more. If you found things practical and you love the ideas, um, milestones, yes, that we want to do that. There also is this series that I'm doing on Reinvent Yourself every Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Come back, join. Every Wednesday, streaming on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Next week, October 2nd, we're going to do something special, though. We're going to be together on Monday at 9 o'clock. Monday, 9 o'clock. And I will be with the fabulous Shanae Moret, and we'll be talking about reinvent yourself. So please come and join us next Monday, 9 o'clock. We would just love to see you. Okay, I think I've said hello to pretty much everyone who's been here with us. Thank you so much for joining. Good to see you, all of you coming in. And tell me if you found this valuable, but more important, tell a friend. Let a friend, thank you for that advice. Let a friend come in and you tell a friend about these conversations and what's going on. I see Curtis just moved. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Transitions, transitions. And I want to let folk know that I do work with, have a lot of work that I work with women, female executives and entrepreneurs, and I work with their organizations as well. So for those of you who are running organizations, nonprofit organizations, small businesses, I do come in and work with people, work with leaders, and really do it all. Thank you all. See you. Thanks for hanging with me. I will see you next Monday. If for those of you who are watching this here on this day and getting to be the last days of September, I will want to see you Monday and asking you to join us at that time for Reinvent Yourself, a special edition of the Reinvent Yourself series. And then, of course, join us the following Wednesday and every Wednesday thereafter, right here, 9 o'clock. Love you all. Stay safe, and be vibrant.